everybody, and welcome to episode 17 of Kings Connected. My name is Dylan Baker. In our last episode, we got a chance to sit down and chat with Assistant General Manager Ray Giffen, who is coming back for yet another season with the Kings. Ray plays a big role in the Kings front office, doing things behind the scenes for the team and even helping out on game days where he is needed. Ray is a big part of the organization, and today we'll talk to his colleague up in the front office as we'll chat with President and GM Roop Chanderdat. Roop has been the owner of the Komoka Kings franchise, and that includes the Lambton Shores Predators and Petrolia Jets for a long time, as Roop has been a member of this organization for quite a while now. And we're very excited to talk to him about his time with the team and really focus on what Komoka has done for the franchise and what the move has meant to him, to the organization, and we're very excited to hear what he has to say there. We'll talk about his goals in recruitment this year and what we have to look forward to next season. We're very excited for this interview, and without further ado, let's bring in Roop Chanderdat, President and GM of the Komoka Kings. I'm now joined by Kings President and GM Roop Chanderdat. Roop, how are you today?
Not bad. Thanks for having me, Dylan.
It's a pleasure to have you on. We're excited to get a chance to talk to you. Roop, you've been in this league for a while with the Kings franchise. What got you into the GOJHL?
You know what? It was quite a path. I started off, I owned Lambeth Lancers junior C team. At that time, actually, it was junior D. Just wanted to kind of dabble into hockey. Someone came with a proposal to myself and Scott Dart to own a team. Never thought about owning a hockey team. And you know what? The franchise needed some help. The owner at that time for the junior B team owned Lambeth and the Nationals, so he just needed some help. So we dove into that, and it was exciting. We had a winning team there. It was fun. And then one of my work colleagues, he had cancer, and terminal cancer, and he was looking for someone to take over his team, and it was Petrolia Jets in Petrolia. I really didn't want to do it, but, because of the scenario and the situation, dove into that. More just letting people run it and having the team go. But that's how we got into that. And the Petrolia Jets became, then that team moved to Forest, Lambton Shore Predators, and ultimately Komoka Kings.
Yeah, for sure. It seems like that move has worked out quite well. Speaking of that move, you're 3 years into it now in Komoka. What is the town of Komoka and Middlesex Center in general?
I'm smiling when I say this. It's been tremendous, so happy for the move. Everyone's been welcoming, whether it's the businesses, the charities, volunteers, Middlesex Center in general, the community. It's what I thought it would be. We just needed a fresh start, and I live just down the road on West Elborn, so I'm close to the rink, 7 minutes away. So for me personally, it was great. And then just how they welcome us, everyone around the area, it's been a great move, and we're really happy with it. And we're hoping we can keep providing a team that can win a championship someday for the community.
Definitely, and Komoka's been very receptive. You talked about the volunteers and the sponsors. We've got a great team with the Kings, and the move has worked out. Now, last season, the Kings finished in 7th in the Western Conference, then lost in round 1 of the playoffs against the Leamington Flyers. What were some of the things that impressed you about the squad that you had last year?
Some things that impressed me was just overcome. I mean, when I say overcome, they were tough. We had a lot of injuries last year, like severe injuries. We lost 2 of our D. One was Kairu. We lost the Erie Otters after 10 games, not because of an injury, just moving on to the next level. We're so happy for him and his family for that. We lost arguably one of the best D in the league in Darcy Panzera for a long stretch. That really hurt us, a 20-year-old D. So you lose a guy like that, and then you lost Kairu. It was tough in the back end, and we had some goaltending issues. But you know what? The kids never quit. The coaching staff never quit. We overcame a lot of adversity, and the boys battled all year. Would we have liked to have a couple more points and you have an easier first-round opponent for sure? But you know what? Those were the cards we were dealt, and I was really happy with everyone. It put us in a tough situation, but it showed our toughness as an organization.
Despite the result last year, the resiliency that the team showed was quite impressive, and that's certainly something that was very impressive about that squad. This season, the Kings will have a new head coach. What went into the hiring of Colin Martin?
Colin Martin's going to be a great head coach. It was continuity. Colin's was with us 2 years as an assistant coach under Ron Horvath, and Ron's, professional coach. When I say that, Ron's been around so long, and Colin learned a lot from Ron, and that was the next phase in his growth as a coach for Colin. So just a familiarity with not just the players, but our organization, what I wanted to do, what our volunteers want to do, just the staff in general and where we want to go as an organization. And Colin's a winner. He was part of the London Knights teams that won. He's a winner, and he brings a winning background. So I think it's was an easy choice in bringing Colin on. We're excited to have him and see where he can take this team to the next level.
We're excited to watch him in his first season as head coach. Of course, you mentioned it there. You learned a lot from Ron Horvat. He talked about it in his interview on Kings Connected. If you haven't checked that out, we strongly recommend you do. Roop, we've seen quite a few players sign already this season. What were your goals for recruitment this offseason?
This offseason was huge for us. When I say that, we were losing a lot of kids moving on to the next level, graduating, things like that. So it's a big offseason. So we attacked it trying to get the best players, whether they're 4 or D. We didn't look at that. We went with a goal. Let's try to get the best players in our area. And I think, what we've nabbed some of the top kids in our area. We're really excited, Ray, myself, Colin, Mike, everyone. I always, and if you know me, it's team. I always say team first. Team's the guy. Everyone helped in recruiting. I'm the GM. But in saying that, without Ray, without Colin, without Mike, we don't get some of these kids. So there's a lot of work that goes into getting these kids. But I think, the class we got, the recruiting class, we're really excited by. And we're still working on a couple of players to fill out that recruiting year, we'll call it. But the guys we've got so far, we're excited by that.
A lot of top talent from the major midget level. And speaking of that, we've seen 7 AAA London Junior Knights sign with the team for next year. Last year, we saw plenty of APs from the Sex Chiefs. What are those two organizations like from a player development perspective?
You know what? Great. A lot of credit has to go to the coaches. For the major midget junior Knights team, Brian Dobbin was one of our coaches here our first year in Kamoka. He did a phenomenal job with that team. And you know what? You talked about the recruits we got. A lot of our recruits were from that team, and a lot of our major midget APs were from that team. So credit has to go to Brian Dobbin and his staff. Getting the boys ready for the next level for Junior B. So we're looking to see those kids grow. And the Chiefs, they've got a good program. That minor midget team was stacked, and we had some of the top players from that team as AP. And with our APs, they get to play, they get to practice, so they get to see what the next level's like. So when it's their turn to move up, they've got a little bit of background, a little bit of feel what to expect.
Definitely. And of course, the Junior Knights, you talked about it, they're one of the top programs in the province, and the Chiefs as well. They had a great team at the minor midget level last season. Several of the APs were drafted into the OHL. How do you feel that APing with the Kings not only helped their draft stock, but helped them grow as players?
You know what? I think it helped them a lot. I mean, you talk about the Bryce McConnell Barkers of the world, Stonehouse. So, we could go with Vecchia. We had a lot of guys, Van Steensel, that AP'd with us. You know what? One, when they come to our practice, they get to compete with older players. We get to compete with men. Some guys 20 years old. These kids are 15 at the time. So they get to see that speed and strength in practice. And then when they play the games, they get to see that speed and strength. And you know what? They get to see the next level, what kind of goes into game day preparation, into practice preparation. So you know what? It gives them a kind of overall feel. And I think it helped them that way. And also, all the scouts were always, texting me, trying to find out, if they're playing, because they get to see them kind of the next year later. Because when I say that, they get to see them play against guys that are, 16 to 20. So they can see how they'll adjust to the OHL life. It might not be the same brand of hockey, but just from a strength, speed standpoint, how they can keep up.
Definitely, and I'm sure that the time with the Kings is huge for them. We've heard it from several players that have signed with the organization or re-signed with the team this year. The Kamoka Kings are a very welcoming organization. The volunteers, the staff, the front office, they welcome you with open arms. We've heard that from pretty much everybody that the Kings have signed this off. What does that praise mean to you?
That means a lot. We put a lot of effort into that. So that means a lot, especially coming from the players. We're a family here. We're the Kings family. You probably heard me say that a lot. You see me put it out there. It's not just words. I truly mean that. These kids are going through a difficult stage in their life. Is hockey still going to continue? Some of them are starting university, jobs, girlfriends. They have a lot on their plate. So what, we want to welcome them. It's not just hockey. It's a family. If they need help, some of these guys need references for jobs, whatever it might be. So we try to make sure they feel welcome. They're just not on a team. They're part of an organization, and they're part of a family. So coming from the players, that means a lot. And hopefully, that can transcend out with everyone just in the community and everywhere else.
For sure. And the Kings, very welcoming organization. The players mentioned it. And it's great that you're able to help out these young kids in so many different ways, even when they move on from hockey. A second to last question for you, Roop. Are there any updates you can provide publicly on the season?
You know what? I guess publicly, our league and our goal is still to play a full season, to still start, the season in a roughly the same time, whether that same time being, October, first week in October, training camp in September. We're prepared as a league to move forward. Obviously, we need clearance from a lot of governing bodies, being, Hockey Canada, OHF, our league, and the health units and Middlesex Center. But you know what? We've been having a lot of Zoom calls and meetings as a league, and we're prepared to move forward. So the good news is we're ready as soon as we get the okay from everyone. We're ready to move forward, and so that's our job, just to be prepared. So when they say go, we're ready to go. And, right now it's looking that target might be the first week in October. Nothing's set in stone, but, with a couple-week training camp in September and then have a full season, I think it's all doable. But the big thing is just preparedness. And I think right now we're prepared to go, providing we get clearance.
For sure. And final question for you, Roop. The province is moving into phase 3 or stage 3 of their reopening this Friday at the time of the recording, last Friday at the time of the release. What does that mean right now for the Camoka Kings?
You know what? It doesn't change too much. Why would I say about that? Because I still think they say there's no the contact sports. You can't have that. But as far as training, the Middlesex Center has been open. You're allowed to have 9 skaters plus a coach or a trainer on the ice. So we're looking at starting some sort of training for the boys on the ice, that want to. So if that number can move up, we'll do it. But it's no physical games or anything. But if we can do some training, that'd be great to get the guys together, just to keep them sharp, one, and also just build some chemistry with the new players. I know a lot of the guys are doing some training on their own since the ice has been open, Wellness Center, Ice Park, and London Western Fair. Kids are skating right now. So, with the phase 3, as far as hockey itself, I don't think there's a big impact on it right now for games, but there's an impact, just training. Guys can get out there and at least skate and do some training.
Definitely. We're looking forward to seeing the team in action on the ice, whenever that may be. Thank you so much for joining the show today, Roop.
Thanks for having me, Dylan. Great job.
Thank you. That was my interview with Roop Chanderdat. We'd like to thank Roop once again for joining the show today. And Roop talked about how seamless the transition into Camoka has been, how much it's meant to him, and it's just everything he'd imagined as he continues to try and turn this team into a top-tier Junior B organization. The Kings are on the right track. They're doing a great job right now with the coaching staff, the front office. Recruitment of players is going very well. There are still some guys to sign, and he talked about how he wanted to sign the top players in our area available this offseason, and it looks like he did that with some great talent at the 18U major midget level and re-signing some great players for the Kings. So a very successful offseason. Roop is a guy that will always look to help you and advance you any way he possibly can, whether it's in baseball and hockey or in life. He's a guy that's there to help his players and the people that he works with. I'm very honored to be a part of such a great organization, as are the players and coaches. You hear it said all the time how welcoming and understanding the inclusive this organization is. Roop has been able to build such a great place for players to play with the front office and coaching staff, and we're looking forward to seeing the team hit the ice hopefully in October, as Roop was mentioning there. It's a possibility, nothing set in stone quite yet, but if we can see the Kings on the ice as soon as possible, that would be awesome. We thank you all very much for joining us in episode 17 of Kings Connected. We'll be back on Thursday with another great episode.